Hi, before the video starts, just a quick disclaimer. I was originally intending on this to be a singular video, but given the length of it, I decided it's best to separate it into two parts for easier conception. This is part 1, part 2 will be linked at the end and at the description. Also, while in the making of this, new fucking eggs showed up! Jeez, Sunny, Empanada, and Pepito, my beloveds, forgive me, but I am not going to include y'all in these videos. But definitely stay tuned for a future part 3 all about the new babies. Anyway, without further ado, let's get started. Hi, I haven't done a video with my actual voice in a while, and I might never do another one after this again, but we'll see. Welcome to QSMP Eggs Designs and Headcanons. Yippee! You know those videos on YouTube where a person draws something, usually some non-person thing as a person, and they're like talking over it and explaining their process? Yeah, I'm doing one of those today! But for the QSMP Egg Children, yay! And here's a quick context if you have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. QSMP is Minecraft server with story like an RPG. People have eggs to care for like children, those are not their kids. Popular theory says that they are dragon eggs. Common fan art trope is to draw them as humanoid dragon kids. Because they have no canonical designs, they all look a little different depending on the artist. Here's my versions. Cheyenne! This is Phil and Misa's egg. He's got a little duck floaty, and I love him very, very much. Starting Chai is actually a really interesting character because he's one of the eggs that has like not the one egg, but he has a lot of variations between artist to artist. I think these days there's a bit of a pattern people are following now, but it took a while. For the longest time, every Cheyenne kind of looked a little different from each other, and that's the best. That's the best. I like that. So my Cheyenne, actually, his whole vibe with his face is that he looks like he looks like emo Phil. You know those old pictures of Phil with like hair on his face and everything? That's basically what Cheyenne looks like. But also because Misa still has that hairstyle basically, so I thought it'd be fun for him to just be like a little emo boy. A lot of people tend to make Chai really lean more into the Philza vibe, so I tried to have him have more like Misa-like attributes, especially with his little, every dragon character I have has little spots around their body. These are more like, they look like freckles, but they're more like scales, but like really simplified so it's easy to draw. And Chai's scales, his whole color palette, it's more Misa than Phil, besides the hair, but the hair is more like to match with the little duck floaty. Also, you'll be noticing that there's no duck floaty in this Cheyenne. It's because my Chai actually has a little duck plushie, because I don't know why, I just have a really hard time picturing him walking around with the floaty 24/7. It kind of ruins the vibe for me, because it's not, I don't know, my brain just doesn't, it doesn't compute to me. I don't like it. Also, like, one of the popular headcanons, and I think it's based off something that actually happened a little while back, was when Misa gave him a skeleton head, and now they're matching and the shit. So it's like the headcanon that he gave him like a skeleton mask that he wears, or that he has a skeleton face. My headcanon is that Misa has a skeleton face. He's kind of like King from the Owl House. That's his face. You can't take it off. But Chai has like a normal human face, or dragon face, but he wears a skeleton mask at all times, and then he has it on top of his head like a hat when he's with Phil, and then he actually wears it on his face when he's with Misa, so that they're matching, because he loves him so much. And also because of the whole vibe with Death that the fucking Death family has, you know, with Angel of Death Phil and literal actual skeleton Misa, and also Kristen being the actual goddess of death, and that's the whole vibe of this emo fucking family. Cheyenne is partially undead, which results in his eyes looking the way they do. I love the vibe of Cheyenne with a hair on his face. It's because of the whole emo thing, but also it's a fun little secret, because under the hair on his face, he's got like this demon-like eyes and everything, which I think it adds to the vibe. It adds to the undead vibe. Plus, it kind of reminds me of my own techno designs. People like to make little references for techno in Cheyenne designs. Some people draw him with pink hair, which I really like too. But for me, it's the mask, because my techno had a mask too. And the little tusks, you know, the fangs going upward. And oh my god, this is taking so long. And the last thing about Cheyenne is the only one that takes this long because he has so many different variants on his design. But the last thing is that he has a little earring feather thing from Phil, and also he's wearing those little things on his arms and legs because Phil wears these like IRL like a lot, and I thought it was a new, and I need a little Phil reference alongside the shirt because everything in his physical body is more Nisa than Phil, so give him a little bit of that green color palette. I think it's nice. Anyways, now it's Tula, my dearest, my beloved, my favorite, my top priority, my everything. My sweet little angel. She's Wilbur's daughter, and yeah. But like in my heart, and in everyone's hearts, she is Phil's daughter, and also Forever's. But that's a long story. Anyways. She is a teeny tiny little itty bitty egg. She's got a little beanie and hair covering her face. Funny enough, she's the only egg that canonically has hair. They're all bald, and she has a lustrous full head of hair, like all eggs should. And she's specifically modeled to look like exactly like her dad. So it's very obvious who she's the kid of. But yeah. So Tallulah has a more general, like, fandom accepted design. She's one of those eggs that are like really recognizable. Okay, hot take. I don't really like the common Tallulah design. I don't think it's ugly by all means. I think all of the egg designs are really nice, like all the variants that they have. I just think it's a bit simple, you know, because the average Tallulah design is like Will but girl, and I don't know, I wish there was more to it, right? So my Tallulah design, so Wilbur has lots of yellows and reds and browns and everything, so my Tallulah design has the exact opposite of the color in the like color wheel thing, which is lots of purples, lots of blues, lots of pinks, because instead of like matching one to one, they're like complementing each other, because they're on different like sides of the color wheel, but they're still visually very similar, right? Because Tallulah, she kind of like, in my head, because of the hair and beanie thing, she kind of like canonically looks very, very much like Will still, you know? So I think that's something that I still wanted to keep. My Tallulah design suffered a couple changes as the months went by. Like, for example, she used to have really, really short hair, and I really liked that idea. But it's very common to see your average Tallulah has longer hair, and I ended up changing it to longer hair, not as in like retconning the short hair, but more like she's growing, she's changing, and she likes having longer hair because then she gets to style it, like the little braid she has on the side. My Headcanons that Forever did that for her, because her relationship with Forever is really, really important to me. She also has a feather earring to match Cheyenne, because their relationship is also really important to me. And you notice that she's not wearing yellow like she usually is depicted as, because that's Wilbur's color. Stop that. I went for, like I said, like all the purples and the pinks, and also darker colors, because one, she's part of the emoest family in the planet, and two, because she is the emoest little girl I've ever seen in my life. She is the queen of angst, all right? So I thought she would have, like, she has the hair on the face, she has the sad little poetry, she has she's you know what I mean? So she's wearing darker colors. She's kind of like, not to be edgy or anything, but she's like constantly grieving and stuff. I just think it complements her color palette very well. And maybe in the future, with like an even older Tallulah design, she starts wearing like more colorful colors if she feels better about herself and everything. I don't know. Other things for Tallulah, she's purple, and I'm very proud of that. I've always depicted Tallulah as being very purple, and then it turned out that was her favorite color, and I am right about everything always. I'm very proud of that. Anything else? Let's see, the fangs, she's got one. The other one, it's a mix between it didn't grow out yet, or she lost it or something. I don't know. It's a mix of Headcanons. I don't know for sure. But the overall design is that she's got like a little thing poking out. It's very Ida the Owl Lady, but like cute baby version. And I think, I don't know. Also, yeah, there's a hearing aid. Do not forget Tula's hearing aid in your designs. It is really important. It is the number one thing, in fact. Also, one last thing with Tula is that her hair, if you notice here on the right side, there's like a single streak that is like slightly lighter than the rest. It's just a cheeky little reference to revive her. It doesn't really mean anything. She hasn't been revived. She didn't die. He's not a canon in this universe. None of it matters. It's just a fourth wall breaking little nod, little wink. It doesn't mean anything. It's just a little funny. Okay, and then we're going for Heas. Richarlison, ovo brasileiro. Can you imagine that? I can. And I love him. He is the character ever of the QSMP. I will not be taking differing opinions at this hour. Alright? He is the child of every single Brazilian that has ever existed. That's right. If you're Brazilian, ele também é teu filho. That's how it works. All jokes aside, though, he's actually the kid of what we call the Favela 6, which is all the Brazilians involved in the QSMP project. So that means, Forever, Selbit, Phelps, Tasercraft, which is Peck and Mike, and now Baji. But it's kind of complicated because she never actually got to meet him yet. But it's gonna work out at the end. It'll be fine. But yeah, Brasova time. Heas is this itty bitty round little egg with a Brazilian shirt, which is the cutest little thing, and he's also got a shorter leg than the other one, and he's perfect. He's just perfect. He's perfect. My boy. So Heas is one of the eggs that also has a very, very recognizable design, a very commonly accepted vibe for his design. There are little variations, but it's mostly in the details, but the general vibe of Heas is very well agreed upon, which is good. It's a good fucking design. It has perfect foundation. So it's, the shirt and then the big, curly hair covering his face and stuff. It's perfect. And then the mechanical leg as well. It's just, he's perfect. He's my beautiful baby boy. So what's going on here? Usually the Heas design has hair covering both the eyes, but I wanted him to be very expressive, as opposed to Cheyenne, which I draw with a very blank face more often than not for no reason. I just think it's funny. I wanted Heas to be really, really expressive. So I went for the vibe of him having one of the eyes uncovered and a nice little ponytail. There's actually a story behind the ponytail. So back in the day, way early on, Selbit had this silverfish head thing that he gave Heas, and some people were joking how the silverfish tail kind of looks like a ponytail or something. And I made the headcanon that Heas did show up with hair on his face, but in typical dad fashion, Selbit was like, take that fucking hair off your face, you can't see anything. So he tied up his hair. Heas is an interesting character design-wise because he's got so many parents, and everybody wants to have the eggs kind of to have little details on their designs that remind them of the parents, right? So I wanted him to have at least one thing in his overall design that could call back to all of his parents. Of course, there is something related to Baji that is missing, but I'm kind of hoping that once they do interact, I'm gonna find something to, about her that I could put in him as well. But, this design was made way back when. So, in overall, I just mentioned, the hair tied back is a Selbit thing. Also his hair, right? His hair is a little blonde, on the tips and everything, to call back to Forever, because Forever's blonde. His face is very Phelps. He's got Phelps face. He's got the face ever that you could possibly have. I remember a little while ago on Twitter people mentioning that it's cool when Heas has a little bit a bigger nose and everything, because it's a thing in character design that some people deem to be, ugly, and it's a thing that people like to change and make it more, more seen more often. And I think it's absolute bullshit that people say it's ugly. It's the best thing that a person could ever have. A big nose is 10 out of 10. So he just has a Phelps face. That's the best way to describe it. He looks exactly like Phelps. but more dragony and everything. He's got like Tasercraft little like wristbands. I don't know if I'm saying the right word, but you know, the things around his wrists, you know, decoration and everything. But also, it's crazy because Tasercraft plus Forever is basically just the Brazilian flag. You know, it's green, blue, yellow. It's basically just the Brazilian flag. This kid is a walking Brazilian flag, and he's perfect. So he's got Tasercraft on his arm, but he's also got Tasercraft on his clothes because, you know, it's green and yellow, and then the pants tie into the rest of the theme with blue, and then to reflect on his eyes with a purple-ish blue. I wasn't originally gonna draw him with colorful, like fancy color eyes and just keep him with like dark, like kind of black beady eyes, because I think it's kind of cute and kind of reminds me of the mushroom hat cow thing with the black beady eyes. But I think it just ties his design together better if he has like blue eyes, because there's very few blue things in his design besides his pants. So I think it would tie everything together a little bit better. He's got the mechanical leg, a Brazilian sticker, a Brazilian flag sticker on his leg, which is cool. Tasercraft probably made that for him, which, you know, another headcanon there for you. He's got, that's the funniest part, he doesn't have dragon wings, because his dragon wings have feathers. And why is that, you ask? Because he's a little bit of a pigeon. If you're Brazilian, you know exactly what I am referencing. If you're not, you don't have to know. It doesn't matter. Accept that he's pigeon and move on. He's a little pigeon. Proo proo, motherfucker. Move on. I like the fact that his wings have this undertone of a rainbow. It's like boring gray, but the gray isn't boring because I know my colors and I make it kind of purplish, and it matches with the mechanical leg. But it's got a little purple but it's got a little rainbow undertone to see that there is beauty in the mundane, which is the most Brazilian thing I could possibly think of. He's got the little scales as well, but I made it so that the scales are a little bit lighter because if I were to go for any other color, it'd be too much going on all at once. He just already has a very busy design with a lot going on. So I figured for scales, and I wanted him to have scales, I should go with like a more neutral color, you know, and something that matched his skin tone very well. So I went for like a beige color, kind of as if he had vitiligo. I'm 50-50 on whether or not he does have vitiligo or not. But like if you think he does, then he does. If you don't think he does, he doesn't. And those are just scales, but those are his scales. But like whether or not the color of his scales is caused by vitiligo is up to you. But you know, just having it be like lighter and everything, I feel like it fits. It just ties everything together perfectly. And now next we have Leonarda. She is the beautiful princess, the daughter of Vegeta and Foolish, and she is very darling. She is a beautiful round little egg with a backwards baseball cap, a red backwards baseball cap, and she is perfect. So the thing with Leo is that I have actually seen a couple people have designs very similar to mine, but it's few and far in between, and I'd like to change that. The thing with Leo is that people tend to draw her looking more like Vegeta than Foolish, which, like, don't get me wrong, your average Vegeta design is really nice, but I just like Foolish's vibe a lot more because he's just more different. He's just more out there. He's just more creative. You know what I mean? He's a shark totem god thing, and it's so much all at once, and it's so good. So I just kind of wish that Leo was a more shark totem dragon thing. It's just cool, you know? So I'm just going for that vibe. So it isn't even just to say that like your more humanoid Leo design sucks. It doesn't. She's very cute. I just like her to have totem face. Can't you have totem face, please? I want her to have totem nose. It's very cute. My Leo design. Other than that, it's basic. It's standard Leo stuff, you know, with like the skater boy vibe with the clothes to match, you know, the baseball cap she's wearing. And the thing like with this design for Leo is that she is very Foolish in the face, but very Vegeta in the color palette. She has lots of dark colors and lots of purple and everything, which I think brings a little bit of balance that I was trying to look for, where she isn't 100% foolish, but she isn't also 100% Vegeta like she usually is. You know, she's kind of like, she's got the yellows from Foolish, but the human skin on most of it, like on her face and on her arms, like Vegeta, like it looks okay. So my Foolish design is all golden, like his skin. And like Leo's got the golden aspects, but she's still got like the human, normal human skin from Vegeta, right? And the purple in the other shark bits that like mixes everything together, right? And just random little details that I wanted to add that just like add. They're not necessarily headcanons. They're not, well, they kind of are, but you know what I mean. They're not like little scenarios type of headcanons, and they're not necessarily based on anything. It's just things that I wanted to add some debate or something that is uniquely mine to the design, like the little hair noodle that she has poking out of her baseball cap. And the little like beauty mark she has under her eye, and the little tooth gap. It's just little things like that don't really mean anything, but like makes my Leo my Leo. You know what I mean? But yeah, there she is. And now it's time for Pom. Oh my god, Pom. She works in the same way that Heas does, where she is the egg of a general nationality group other than like two people or one sometimes. She's the kid of the French. So like Baguera and Etoile and Antoine and Cameto and Pierre, right? And she is the last egg to show up, actually, and she is this perfectly little round baby with a little hat beret. Oh my god, I forgot the name of the hat. And she's got little marks on her face in the colors of the French flag, much similar to Heas. She has to have the flag colors, which is good. This is good character design. Okay, so you know what we were talking about, how the fandom kind of hasn't accepted a design for the eggs, and some tend to vary more than the others. Pom is one of the eggs that tend to vary a little bit more. And what I mean by that is that sometimes she's a completely different race depending on your headcanon. There is straight hair, blonde, blue eyes Pom, and then there's black Pom, and then there's hijabi Pom. So it really depends. It really depends on the artist. I tend to gravitate more toward black Pom, and it's for a number of reasons. Mostly because, you know, she's cute. Look at her, my beloved. Also like color palette wise, because she has lots in her design that is like, you know, reminiscent of the French flag, which is red, blue, and white. I wanted her to have her scales because the egg has like little marks on her face that remind that are reminiscent of the flag, right? But it's blue and red, and I wanted her to have blue, red, and white. But if she were to be pale, it would be really hard to make the white scales show up on her face and the rest of her body. So I kind of wanted her to have darker skin so that I could actually see. If general rule of thumb, if you want to have like lots of white in a design, more often than not the character should be dark skinned, because it just looks better, bro. It just looks better. What am I supposed to say? It just looks nice. I wanted her to have a nice little elaborate hairstyle with some braids and stuff, and I just think she just looks so stinking cute, right? I also had the vibe to make her kind of like a little bird-like. I don't know, I forgot to mention this with Heas, but I forgot to mention this with all the eggs, but they all have like little lizard feet. You know, like little chicken feet is what I like to call them. They got little chicken feet with like the 3 fingers on the front and 1 in the back, and it's got like the big talons and everything. And it's a stylistic choice. It is, do not question me, it's definitely not because I don't know how to draw shoes. And they all have 3 little feet on the front and 1 in the back, except for the more bird-like ones that have 2 on the front and 1 in the back, and that's Heas and Pom up until now. Pom also has lots of like little feather things all over her. She's got these like characteristically long ears. I think it like frames her silhouette a lot with like everything is kind of like round with her, right? She's got puffy sleeves, a puffy little like tutu kind of like skirt. She's got her a little hat is like really round. Her hair is very puffy. She's got lots of feathers on her tail. Everything about her is kind of like fluffy. So I made that with like her ears like poking out, and it gives like that elf like vibe for her, and she's very like running around with that little the butterfly fairy wings thing. Like she's very fairy princess to me, right? And so her ears being really long, and her having like this long tail with little like feathers at the bottom. I just think it's a vibe is what I'm saying. I'm going with vibes here. And with that, it is done. You can see here the lineup of all of them next to each other with their headcanon heights as well. And also, if you see under them, I also wrote down my headcanon ages for them. I will not be elaborating at this hour. Actually, I will if you ask in the comments. That might be a thing that I can do. But, you know, there they are. Yeah, so a video ending type text. Here's subscribe, comment, say things. I don't know. Yeah, social media. Have day. Bye.